Hey guys, this is Dylan.
I'm Quinn.
And thank you for watching. Well, I messed up the order, so now I'm all verklempt. But so what's up? Yeah, this is going to be for episode 2. Please like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos or when we go live. And yeah, don't forget to check out the website www.broken.pictures.com.
No.com. All right. Well, it's my turn.
You go right ahead. I'm gonna.
While he does that.
My light's a little hot on this side. Got new lights.
Oh, yes. Working through things with the show. Right, here I go. Hear ye. This is your spoiler alert. I don't have a bell. I should have a bell.
Shame! If you're not watching.
In this episode, they will be speaking upon the second episode of Loki. If you have not watched it, thou needs to pause and then return. I'm just going to keep doing this. Thou hast been warned.
Yes. You've been warned. There will... spoilers? Spoiler alert! If you haven't watched the episode, like Quinn was saying, go stop and go watch the episode and come back. And this episode will be up on our YouTube channel, so you can watch it at any point after this time.
Yes, until the end of time or until YouTube servers explode.
Yeah. Or life has its way with us. All right, so man, we might make it quick. It is warm in here. I've been blowing the fan in here. We are in my studios in my garage, and it is definitely summertime now.
The heat index is real. Humidity said, "I'm here," and when they both high five, it equals suffering for everyone else.
Yeah, it's the humidity that'll get you.
Just like salt, it's the deadly killer.
Yep. So if you'd like to sponsor the show, just hit us up on Patreon or send me an email through the website, and send me a DM if you like or whatever. There are other things that we could get that'll spice up the show, and so we could add little sound effects and graphics and all that fun stuff, and multi-stream on different platforms. That would be super helpful. But it is a little pricey just for extra stuff for family guys, for dads. So anyways, we're going to jump right in. Speaking of dads, we're just dads. We love Marvel and we love these shows, and we just want to talk about it. So we do a YouTube show, and we live normal lives, and this is the middle of our work week. So yes. We might be a little less than prepared.
I mean, life happens. Things happen.
So this isn't one of those shows where we're going to break down every detail and all that kind of stuff. We watch those shows, and we're going to talk about it. This is a discussion show where you can chime in live, and hopefully one day we'll have people to talk to live.
We got one person, whoever you may be.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank y'all for being here today.
You're giving it away. Nobody watches the show. You're breaking the illusion.
The illusion of nothing. Of no one? The illusion of no one.
Yeah.
Wait.
Is it enchantment magic or illusion magic? We want to enchant somebody.
We enchant one, then it gets to 2. We're trying to zombie virus this thing. So you get 1 turns to 2, 2 turns to 4, and one day it'll just be everywhere.
Yeah, just take a little nibble. That's all it takes. Just a little nibble. Wah, 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 wah.
Okay.
Speaking of, if you like The Walking Dead, we started doing The Walking Dead. We've got those old episodes there. Need to catch up on episode 10. Like I said, life in the past year has just been nuts for everybody. So we're going to actually get into the episode. Another great episode. Like as far as I thought it was amazing. The first episode was strong. I mean, emotional, strong writing, and this one, man, usually like so far I'm not seeing a filler episode. We're only 2 episodes in, but still, man, this feels like the MCU is back. I mean, as much as I loved WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, those felt like compartmentalized stories. This one feels like it is changing the game, like everything. Yeah. I mean, literally, at the end of the episode, like...
Game was changed.
Yeah.
Everything was blown apart and open. And yeah, it was really fun. I wasn't expecting the reveal of the Loki. I mean, I know it's only 6 episodes, but wasn't expecting the reveal of the Loki at all. This episode, I was like, oh, he's just she. Okay, we're in it. I told you, spoiler alert. She was just up there. Switching bodies, jumping around, messing with Loki. Then got somebody's uncle who looked like he just drove his pickup truck with a deer on the hood rack in to just start literally. I want to say, like in the
credits, it was like labeled as the character was named like Big Hoss or something.
Big Hoss.
Speaking of credits, I guess we can go ahead and get into the major things and tease out at the beginning, so maybe you'll stick around for the crazy theories later and the ranting and rumbling and all this other junk that we get into. So, I mean, it's basically just a live podcast is what this is.
Yes.
So you can just turn it on in the background or whatever and chime in.
You
don't
need to see our faces. Yeah. But if you want to look at us, hi.
Fresh haircut. Over here.
Chocolate dark, yes.
Yeah. So my lighting situation is different this time, so the lighting may be off a little bit. So, yeah, I am like superiorly illuminated over here, and Quinn is sitting in the dark. So I need to change things up a little bit. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get that fixed by next week.
Yes.
That's a nice dance you got there. That's pretty awesome. Speaking of dancing, holding out for a hero. Okay. I'm going to go on these random tangents. You're going to have to rein me in. I just drank a coffee because, like I said, it's been a long week.
It's been a long week. It's been a long day. But yeah, Loki reveal, big things. First big thing was the reveal.
Yeah, and that was a huge tease. Apparently, some of these big YouTubers... or maybe not YouTubers, these big
guys,
people, I guess YouTubers, but people that critics or whatever that cover this stuff, they got the first 2 episodes. Of course, we're not even on the radar. I mean, you could put us on the radar. We need your help. only with you. The more you know. Yeah, they got the first 2 episodes, and they were teasing out in episode 1, like, oh, is it Lady Loki? Knowing, and even like calling her and all this kind of stuff. So I mean, they kind of screwed themselves because that's the deal. If they give you advance episodes, you don't spoil it. Yeah, like that's just so you can pre-record.
Get your content ready so that once that stuff hits, you can be like. It's already here, hi.
Yeah, and get all your theories working up so that the fan base has a nice little kickstart and get people in it. So, I mean...
Because, you know, after quarantine and then, like even before, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to have to stop and then think and then do the thing.
What?
You're
talking about running tangents?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So... You know, during quarantine, everybody watching every show, and like there's a Tiger King after show. Oh like so many people you would binge something or watch something.
Never actually watched that show.
You never watched Tiger King?
No.
I mean, you still can.
I'm supposed to be a pop culture sponge, but...
I mean, you still can. It's on Netflix.
The FOMO show has ended, so I don't have to stay on top of things. Temporarily. Maybe one day it'll start.
One day.
We keep that in our back pocket.
But we're in the point of culture now where, like, somebody sees something, they immediately go to find more information about this thing. Mm-hmm. So... to spoil it kind of ruins it.
Yeah, it's fans. Just trying to get out there and be the first and all this kind of stuff. It's just ego and it's stupid. You're shooting yourself in the foot. But anyways, I mean, we wouldn't have done that. I mean, we're better people than that. I mean, just saying, Disney Plus, Marvel.
Give us shows.
Absolutely give us shows. So yeah, I mean so you're here. This is basically what the show is. We're just begging people to watch and to make us big time YouTubers and stuff, so we can actually maybe quit our day jobs and hang one of those silver, big shiny YouTube play buttons back here or something.
Oh yeah, they get those. I forgot they got.
Hey John, that's my boy. John is watching. Says hello. So
hello.
Hey yo. John sent me a theory. I know we're still going on these tangents, but while John's here, let's go ahead and get into this. John sent me a theory. I want to say who was it Screen Crush? I didn't have time to read it yet, John. I'm sorry. Screen Rant. So it was something he wanted to talk about. It's about is Lady Loki possibly an actual timekeeper that's gone rogue?
Oh.
And so apparently Screen Rant wrote up this theory we were going to talk about. I hadn't had time to read it because I got home from work and just kind of threw everything together. It says Loki's Nexus events just created a new in-game time heist plot hole.
Which one?
I don't know yet.
There were 7. But it's okay.
But it was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen. So I guess it's fine. Star Wars. But
hold on, there's a too long didn't read. So you can just ramp on it and I'll read this real quick.
I mean, and this is my brain. I'm probably way off. But, you know, if she is a former time agent, a former time agent, and Loki is the most common variant that they always get. She could have caught a Loki, fallen in love with the Loki. Scroll through the pictures. She could have caught a Loki,
That's what I'm doing.
fell in love with a Loki, and then that Loki ended up getting reset or killed. And after they discovered this whole giant truth about everything, and then she's like, no, now I'm gonna take this mantle and I'm gonna bring all this down. But then again, she did at the end of the episode said this isn't about you, but she could have just been talking about him, actually that Loki. It's not about him, it was about the other Loki that she cared about. Oh,
I totally missed what you said.
it's okay.
So you guys caught it. So basically what it's saying is the plot hole is, do you remember in Endgame, the Ancient One said basically the whole idea was that they could go in and steal the Infinity Stones and screw up the timeline as long as they went back to these branch timelines and replaced the Infinity Stones, right?
Oh, and
that
Owen
patched
Wilson
it, right?
Wilson say you can't go back to the moment that you do the thing.
Exactly.
Because it'll cause a whole nother thing.
Exactly. And that also means that if they're going to go back and stop Lady Loki before she does something, it's already too late. She's already done it.
Yeah.
So they've kind of already...
They're always 2 steps behind.
Yeah, they're already shot themselves in the foot as far as their time logic, potentially.
All right, thanks, guys. It's the whole show. Bye.
All right. And so, I mean, that also means that... I mean, so Endgame was... I mean, as far as the way I see it, is complete fan service. It was a great movie if you don't think about it too hard.
That one's really long.
Okay. I'll ask her. I'll ask about her because being a timekeeper... Okay, hold on there. I ask about her because being a timekeeper could possibly answer the plot holes. Because the timekeepers, they manage the flows of time. So her being a timekeeper, she could go where she wants to do what she wants. That wouldn't explain why she would need one of those little panels that she had, that she was opening time doors with, unless that's how the timekeepers do it.
Yeah, that's how they do it, because because some of them have them on their little wrist panel thing. Some have the little remote, but
Oh, that time twister thing.
so I see there's various ways to open up the doors. It's just
Okay. So this. So yeah, I mean, in game, the directors and the writers both disagreed as far as where if Cap was in a variant timeline living or if he was in the main timeline living when he went back, right? So I mean, that in itself, if the writers are correct and Cap was living in a variant timeline, he's already a variant. The variant Cap came back and gave Sam the shield.
unless she is a rogue.
Unless she's gone rogue and they exiled her.
Yep.
That's possible. I think my theory also makes sense, but I need to set it up a little bit. So, as far as their time logic, they don't agree. And then it also, as far as writing goes, it creates character issues for Steve Rogers if he's in the main timeline, like the directors say, because, I mean, the same directors also directed Civil War, where Cap would not sign the Accords because he can't just sit and be okay with something being wrong.
Yeah.
So why would he be in the main timeline and just living his own life and not caring about what's going on in the world because he deserves it? You know what I mean? That goes against everything we know about Steve Rogers. So that's already a problem. And that could be, they could go back and address that in Loki and talk about how that, maybe they allowed that so that Sam could get the shield or something like that. I don't know. But, so my theory, and we touched on it a little bit last week, I wanted to make a whole different video, but like I said, it's been a long week. Gugu Mbatha Raw's character, Renslayer, is sus. Big time sus.
Oh yeah, she's super sus.
Because she, for one, she's high up in this propaganda machine that is the TVA, where only she gets to meet with the timekeepers, and not even Owen Wilson's character has met them. So as far as they know, like, they don't even exist. That she's just a shadow. She's Oz behind the curtain. You know what I mean? But knowing her history as a Marvel character and her relationship with Kang the Conqueror, who very much looks like one of the timekeepers.
Yes.
Could very well be one of the timekeepers, or the whole timekeeper thing is a scam to keep this, because Kang's whole thing is coming back to make sure that there are not variant timelines in which will screw up the future where he might cease to exist.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole gig with being a timekeeper. You're keeping that timeline. Says, okay, John said, yes, I was thinking they will address these plot holes in the series. Yeah, I really hope so. If they don't, we're going to be upset. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kang, his whole deal is coming back from the future and challenging the Avengers and all this. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you keep going. I was waiting till you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
You're gonna blow my theory up, aren't you? So his whole thing, he goes back in time and he challenges the Avengers or whoever else that might try to do anything that would change the timeline in which he was created and became who he is. Basically a Time Lord type thing, right? And there's all these other versions of him, variant versions that kind of do the same thing. We just say,
yeah, the Council of Kang.
Yeah, the Council of Kang, right? So those do the same thing that basically the Timekeepers are doing in here, where they've. So in the comics, they're different characters. The Timekeepers were created at the end of the timeline, and their job is to go back and make sure. All things are, the sacred timeline is kept clean so that they will also continue to exist.
Yes.
But there are alternate versions of them, which are the Time Twisters, which were created at the beginning of time, and they come from the opposite end to try to destroy it. So that is probably the Secret War.
Secret Wars.
Exactly, which is coming. We hope. So they talked about in the little infomercial thing last year, the little
Teaser?
the little video that they.
Oh, you're talking about in the last episode, the
little training video, I guess, for intros.
there's a word for it.
There is, I can't think of it.
Nope.
Yeah, he was watching training videos this week, but they explained how there was all these alternate timelines, and they went to war with each other, and then they.
Infomercial?
I said that, but I don't think that. Was, anyways,
Okay.
yeah, we're old. So, anyways, I'm just gonna loop you in with me, by the way.
Okay, that's fun.
So, so they go back in time to try to make sure all these timelines do not vary off of the one timeline that keeps them in control and keeps them basically from ceasing to exist.
Yeah.
And so they and Kang basically have the same function as far as but Kang is a villain and they're not. So MCU being what it is and how they merge things and your favorite and Iron Man 2 with the villain, Crimson Dynamo and Whiplash. So that could very well be what is happening because her Renslayer, her Judge Renslayer, her relationship with Kang in the comics, she was rescued from an apocalyptic event and fell in love with Kang. She was rescued by Kang, and at one point even ruled his city of Chronopolis, which we've already seen in Ant-Man 2, the little quantum realm ghost. My dog is warming up on me, and it's really warming my leg up. Get off, bro.
All right. There's a lot of things that you've said so far.
All right. And I'm almost done. So, so in Loki, it could very well be possible that Kang is one of the timekeepers, and all this is set up to just keep all these people going and all this stuff going. And she's running it for him, or there's an actual timekeeper set, and this is an actual real thing, and she has infiltrated. And he is one of the timekeepers, but he has secretly gone rogue, and she is working for him. And her having all these other stuff and this different agent is actually her going through time and making all these little adjustments for Kang off the record. And she's super sus. She has framed Lady Loki and saying that she's the one that's doing it. And Lady Loki is actually an anti-hero who is trying to expose Kang and Renslayer.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's my theory.
Okay.
All right.
So.
And go.
Let's go. Let's rewind a little bit and go all the way back to the plot hole part. So, the plot holes that were created by Endgame and that are also kind of created in this. So, the TVA is basically low-key living plot armor. Because it is time travel, you can just go back and make everything work the way you want to work. I don't think everyone in the TVA knows everything that is possible. It was proven in this episode because Loki figured out, well, if you go to if you hide or do something in an apocalyptic event, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Because it's going to end anyway.
Because it's going to end anyway.
It doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. But what I think, well, that's I asked you. What? Oh yeah. What? What was the why I asked you? I think that one's for you.
I'm gonna look in the text and see.
Okay. But I think there, with the TVA and everything. Oh, I lost my train of thought. No,
I guess he asked, is it possible she could actually be a timekeeper?
Oh, she's either probably a timekeeper or...
Yeah, I don't know if she's a timekeeper. I mean, it's a possibility. In my theory, I don't think she is. I think she's just
that's what it was.
someone that's been framed.
it's part of his thing and part of the question.
Yeah, because they've already established that Loki is the #1 variant that they've eliminated the most. So,
but she doesn't like
easy
being
target,
called
easy framing target.
Easy framing target, but she doesn't like being called Loki because I don't think she's not actually Loki or a Loki variant. She's just she's just using it.
Yeah. So what he's alluding to is if you go into, I want to say it's the Spanish-speaking credits. In the English-speaking credits, she's referred to as the variant.
What about my theory? That she's a timekeeper gone rogue.
That's very well possible.
Yes.
I don't quite understand I hadn't thought it through just yet, but so yeah, in the Spanish-speaking credits, she's called Sylvie. Mm-hmm. And that's
Enchantress.
The Enchantress in the Marvel Universe.
Yes. So with your theory, yes, her being a timekeeper gone rogue, she still is somehow Enchantress, but Enchantress didn't actually exist in the MCU to begin with. It's because this whole entire time.
Well, hold on. Okay. There's a lot of time shenanigans. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could potentially, because of the potential Peggy sighting last week, that could be a variant timeline now. Mm-hmm. Enchantress was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
Not this Enchantress.
No.
But
an Enchantress.
Yeah. And because of the MCU likes to merge things, she could actually be Lady Loki merged with Enchantress type thing. She does enchantments.
She does enchantments, but she doesn't fight the way he does. They all do things different.
She does things a lot like not Black Widow, but Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she fights like an actual enchantress. Keeps jumping bodies, but the plot.
Imagine her and Scarlet Witch fighting in Doctor Strange.
The plot.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The plot hole part and her being a rogue timekeeper. And the only reason she's doing what she's doing, and the reason she knows how she's doing what she's doing, is because she used to be a part of the TVA. Mm. And that's how she knew who she could kidnap to figure out where these other plot hole timekeepers are, the ones that are there to make sure everything is going on. Because they have to have agents constantly in the field to watch, make sure something happens the way it's supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. She figured out where they were, got the little keypad to rig up a bomb. They weren't going to be able to find the bombs because that building was going to be destroyed anyway, but by the time the building was destroyed, all the little reset devices got sent to where they were supposed to be sent to a specific event, which is really
lots of different places.
A timekeeper that was not a timekeeper, a TVA agent, which are just timekeepers for simplicity's sake, making sure an event happens the way it's supposed to happen. But then they get reset and that event then goes haywire. For instance, let's just say pick an event in the MCU, something kind of major but nothing ridiculous where I have to think hard.
So I think in one of the trailers we see New York as if the atom bomb hit New York. So that could be one.
Okay. We'll say that there was a TVA agent that was there that made sure, I don't know. That one's hard. Do a different one, Dylan.
Pompeii.
Well, that one. MCU event.
An MCU event. Let's go with
slightly.
The death of Frigga, since this is
okay. Talking about Thor's mom?
Yeah.
Oh no, that one that one.
You mean like a major event? Okay.
Yeah.
Sokovia.
Okay. All right. Thor. Well, let's just say there's a TVA agent there that was watching over Thor, making sure Thor got up or whatever, and let's just say the TVA agent hit a Ultron bot that was actually gonna hit Thor in the neck with a beam and kill him. Mm-hmm. And
because the butterfly effect or whatever.
And so he takes that one out. That one dies. Thor does his thing, makes sure the island stays up long enough and all that, but the TVA agent gets reset. Thor gets hit in the neck, Ultron, boom, drops the thing, everybody dies. Ultron, it's Ultron world now.
Yeah, big
and
difference.
things like that. And so timelines branch. It's basically any point in time where they were about to lose, but they didn't lose. It's just something that's in the background that didn't make them lose, which is a TVA agent. And she reset all of them. In a
Yeah,
sense.
right at those pivotal moments.
Yeah. Like you change a split second to change a whole future.
I just thought about this though. So how, I wonder, they said the variant is Loki, is a Loki variant. They know that much.
Do they?
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
He said it's you.
Yeah.
So how do they know this? I wonder how much information they know. Because all of it, like he tried to go look at a lot of stuff and it was all, there was some stuff is redacted on like the end credits or whatever, which is also majorly sus, like CIA type stuff.
Yeah.
But of course, all that was classified. He couldn't look at it, except for his own timeline little thing. So, being the TVA being outside of time and can jump in at any point in time, why don't they just go to the point in time where they caught her and find out what they need to do and just do it?
Did they ever catch her? They never caught her. Because they can't. Because it hasn't happened yet. Because they exist outside of time. So
yeah, but they keep intercepting her in the time, like the actual timeline. Mm-hmm. So she's hiding in these apocalyptic events, which explains why we see all these apocalyptic events in the trailers. Like with her and Loki sitting, it looks like the end of Vormir or something like that, with all the meteors crashing down. So why don't they just go in? Maybe they just don't know where to find her. But if they know everything from beginning to end, and they've got everything on paper and all these details and files and all these things throughout time, and they know, like Owen Wilson was like, I know everything about you. I know everything.
Because
they have nothing but time. Because time, they can just enter into any fixed point in time.
So back to the thing where Loki and him were sitting and talking, and how everything's predetermined. But if they exist outside of time, they're the only ones that are truly free. Because what they do isn't predetermined, which is why they can't catch her. Because if they could,
but that's the thing is, I guess it's the whole paradox about going back in time and killing baby Hitler, which,
because they can't go back to the point where she became a variant unless she's not actually a Loki variant, and they're just saying she's a Loki variant because that's what they were told.
And maybe that's why they can't find her, because they think she's a Loki variant, but she's actually not.
Because all the Loki variants they showed, like, they all looked they were different, but they all looked the same. Mm-hmm. Like there was Frostshine Loki, there was Louise Armstrong Loki, there was
who was another great trickster.
There's Gamma, we'll call him Gamma Loki just for simplicity's sakes, or Goblin Loki. There was Goblin Loki.
Yeah, it looked like Big Green Goblin.
So there were all these different types of Loki, but they all were Tom Hiddleston's face. Mm-hmm. So for even this Loki not to be not even the same face, not even the same hair color, I can understand it looking a little different. But in all honesty, if there was a female Loki, I feel like she would look like Lady Sif.
In the comics, wasn't that body created to look like Lady Sif?
Lady Sif.
And we know that Lady Sif will be in the next Thor movie. We don't know what's going to happen with this variation of Loki, if he's going to be deleted or retconned or reset, because we know that main timeline Loki is dead. Like that's final. But of course, it's the MCU, it's comics. Nobody's officially dead. And if
Unless
they
they
wanted,
don't
they could
wanna
just
be in the
like
movie.
recast Loki as somebody else, and it could be a variant.
And it would be a variant. What did my wife say? My wife said she is the actual timekeeper. She is above the three people, but nobody actually knows that. Like she's the one actually keeping time the way time is supposed to be. And but the timekeepers are the rebels. And she's the one, but they don't know that because propaganda.
Right. Yeah. Propaganda video. That's what.
Propaganda.
That's. I think that's what I was looking for earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like on Jurassic Park. Hey, y'all.
Yes. Well, that's a good theory.
That was a nice little rabbit hole.
Yeah. That was a very deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's the fun of this, is exploring stuff like that. So, Sylvie, if you want to probably expound a little bit more on who Enchantress is.
Enchantress is, well, obviously an Asgardian. But for most of her history, she is in love with Thor and would really literally do anything for him. She goes through various schemes, works with various villains, masters of evil at one point in time, to get Thor. That's all what she really wants, is Thor incarnate.
In her life.
In her life. She's a powerful sorceress who, what was the one? She ends up getting like captured by Satyr one time and forced to work for him. But yes. And she also, what's his name? Big bald guy. He was in the last movie. He had machine guns. I cannot think of his name.
Oh, Carl Urban's character.
Carl Urban's character. It's escaping my brain.
Yeah.
Yes. Executioner.
Executioner.
In his variations is also, they kind of played with it in Ragnarok. Executioner's like hopelessly in love with Enchantress and would do anything for her, so she uses that, manipulates him to get her the things that she wants. And he hates Thor because he can't have the woman he wants because the woman he wants him.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Love triangle stuff.
Love line, and Thor's just like, stop.
Yeah. He's like, reverse. Reverse.
But this variation of if she is Enchantress, which it would be
Does
fun.
Enchantress have blonde hair?
Blonde hair, green outfit, little headband with some things on it.
And we thought she might be in not Black. I keep wanting to say Black Widow. WandaVision.
Oh yeah, we did. We did think that.
So that, I mean, if those rumors were floating around then maybe it's connected to this.
Her magic is green when she uses it. Literally, her whole thing is, you are mine now. Go beat up the Hulk. Go beat up Thor.
Maybe beat him into submission, make him like me.
I mean, yeah.
Is she like she's like an anti-hero type thing, huh? Or she is full villain?
She's full villain. She's one of those like, she's like a kind of a dead dastardly type, like one of those twirling mustache, you're gonna fall into my trap type of thing.
Wow.
But a lady.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, they'd probably update that
Yeah, they probably have.
because it's not the 50s anymore.
But I mean, that character archetype still exists.
That's true.
General Grievous.
Yeah.
I'm sad. But yes, that's a little bit more on Enchantress. But with the TVA, they are buttholes.
Yeah.
That like,
Dude, if Mobius doesn't get to ride a jet ski by the end of this, I'm gonna be upset.
I'll be upset too.
Okay, another theory. Yeah, I just thought about this. So Mobius, Mobius, that's why he signs MMM on his paperwork, is actually in the comics is a clone. And there's multiple of him. So it could be very well possible that the other agent is himself. And I mean, as much as this show has already shown how adept it is at taking a character down as big as Loki, and then the one that took him down, I mean, his glorious purpose would be defeated to find out he's just a clone.
Oh, yeah.
So...
I'll say that. Great. Gotta go.
All right, gotta go
Thank
get some
you
sleep. All right, man. Appreciate you, John.
Thank you for
Thanks for
being
tuning in, for dropping by. Talk to you later, bro.
Bam, 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 bam. Air horn sound for you. It would take him down a peg or two because he is super talking down to Loki. He is making, like he straight said, saw a little boy in the cold, wanted to bring him in, or I'll just say whatever I have to get you to do what I need you to do. You pick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
Super manipulative.
yeah.
And so that's okay. That. So he sees Loki at all points in time at the same time. Like he sees him as that little frost giant boy that was rejected. He sees him as this villainous trickster, and he also sees him as the redeemed villain at the same time. And so he kind of hopes for him, you know, and he kind of has sympathy on it. So he's seeing his timeline all at once, and that's kind of how they see time, as all things happening at once, right?
Because they have your whole life to some
Exactly, and so that was kind of my point with this the variant, Lady Loki, or whatever we're going to call her, or them, since they're gender fluid.
Let's call her Sylvie just for simplicity's sake.
Right. So Sylvie, there's got to be something that they apparently. There's a fly in here. Sorry. So why can't they just go find her file? Like, that's why I'm saying, like, maybe that's why she's posing as Loki, so they don't actually know who she is, so they can't go find her
who she actually is,
and just go pluck her out.
And that the same argument goes until she could be a timekeeper. And if the timekeepers don't have files on them because they just exist, then they wouldn't have a file on her either.
Yeah, and he confirmed this episode also that all the TVA agents were created to do their jobs by the timekeepers, right? However, Renslayer is a variant because she was supposed to die with her timeline.
But she's in a position of power, so they can't question that. So
who else is a variant that is in that type of position? Are there other variants inside the Authority? Because right now they're working with Loki as a variant, but he seems to be an outside thing, like something totally different. They keep labeling him this. He's not just one of them. You know what I mean? But Renslayer doesn't have the same thing.
I don't think she wants Loki in there for different reasons.
She's super against Loki being there.
She's super against him being there because I think he would find out something he's not supposed to find out. He would force everyone to start asking questions. And the first instance of that we got, because it's going to keep coming back to this, was the hide in apocalypse thing. Like he said, that broke a whole big old hole in our defenses that we didn't even know about.
Yeah. And also, he's also kind of shaken up Mobius, because there's the scene where they're in the cafeteria and he's like, showing him in his salad, ruining his salad. When he goes in there, I want to say there's a propaganda poster that says idle conversation or something like that in the cafeteria, and they're just supposed to sit there and be quiet or whatever.
So weird.
Yeah, and so when he goes in there and starts talking, that's why everybody's just kind of like, this is weird. But later on, they're sitting in there and he's totally just having a conversation like it's normal. So he's already starting to just not abide by the rules.
Yep.
Where he was super by the rules before that point.
Huh? He's getting to him. That's why she's
And I mean, plus Casey is wondering what a fish is now.
What's a fish? He told me he was gonna gut me like one. I need to know what I'm gonna be gutted like. So,
I like that guy.
He even took his drink. He went over to him and was like, "Hey, oh my gosh, it's you! Great! Look, I'm gonna take your drink. I'll be right. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just eat your food."
Yeah, and all these drinks are like discontinued '90s drinks. So there's another theory out there as far as like all of the TVA agents believe that they've been created to do this, but they're in fact mind-wiped variants. And that's why Owen Wilson's character is so caught up in the 90s and loves all these different elements of the 90s and stuff. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
And it's kind of his subconscious speaking out.
Trying to put the little fragments back together. It's like having a puzzle with missing pieces. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, hon.
Yeah, all this stuff could be potential because we're only 2 episodes in and so much is happening. There's no easing into this. They jumped right in.
Another thing. Female Loki also has a Sylvie. She also has a Fantastic Four connection.
So does Kane.
So Sylvie, in the comic where Loki becomes female Loki, she is working with Doctor Doom. And then from that, Fantastic Four brought in and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, we could be heading towards a unknown Doctor Doom connection that's in there, which, I mean, I feel like he's around the corner. I don't know who else is going to be the biggest bad in the yard.
I don't know.
Besides Kang.
So,
Kang versus Doom. Give me it.
That'd be amazing. So Jonathan Majors is already cast as Kang, and this casting came out quite a bit ago, and I don't know the timeline on this, but it's very possible that he could appear in this series. Somebody asked him straight out, and he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So he's not playing games with us. Like this dude is like, no, zipped. I mean, the shawarma scene on the Avengers, like they filmed, I want to say a week before the premiere. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they could tag on anything.
On yeah.
And technically, they've already revealed that Doctor Strange was supposed to be in the end credits for WandaVision.
So there's that that's that scene out there somewhere.
Yeah, they've already. I mean, I don't know if they filmed it. That's probably why it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if he was in the UK, it would probably be more difficult. So
and they've already started filming Ant-Man 2. They just started filming that.
Okay.
I mean, Brie Larson. Is that right? Brie Larson.
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Her scene in Endgame, where she comes in and is speaking to Thor, where she comes in, she's like, where's Fury? Or where's Nick? Or whatever. I can't remember what she says. Nobody calls him Fury. Or nobody calls him Nick. She had just been cast as Captain Marvel and didn't really know anything or who she's speaking to, just went in and did it. Okay. And so like that fast. So it's very possible that he could step in full makeup. And dude, if like they keep saying space lizards and all this stuff, and so the variant, or not the variant, but the timekeeper in the center where she's sitting, like she's always placed right in the center with this timekeeper, even in her office. Yeah. Like when we enter her office, it stays on him, and then it comes out to the other ones. The other ones have like different tools, like an hourglass or stuff like that, and he doesn't. He sits there like this, right in front of her desk, like she's his tool.
Give me a hug. Yeah.
And she's recording this one, and I mean, super sus. I mean,
I don't even know where to start with it. She's been shady since day one, because she doesn't want really nobody besides Morbius wants Loki there. Like even
Morbius is a vampire.
Morbius is a vampire.
Oh, we'll come back to this. Finish your thought.
Even when they went to the supermarket, which
Roxxon.
Yeah, also.
I love the tie-ins, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Which also, with the, what was it called? It was called Rocksmart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if Exxon opened up a Walmart in the future.
Hilarious.
God forbid.
There were some things in there I'm like, oh man, when I go into stores, I feel like I'm definitely going to see this in 10 years. Not even that, probably next year. The little name tags that like, yeah, and then the little hologram person in front.
They could do that now.
They could do that now.
So, one of the little videos, breakdown videos I watched said that the shovel that we saw last week in Oklahoma, that was like futuristic from 31st century, early 31st century, where King is from. What that on that shovel, it says that it was created by AIM. So that's another tie-in.
How is AIM still around then? All right, whatever. Whatever, AIM.
Yeah, so people are buying shovels, AIM shovels at Rocksmart.
MODOK, you little weirdo.
It's very possible that that's where that came from.
Hilarious, by the way. Supervillain corporations working together. I'll give you money, I guess.
Masters of Evil.
Master. Right. Once I got in there,
Masters of Evil.
the other time agent did not want Loki to go with Owen Wilson. He says Owen Wilson.
Hunter B-15 or something like that.
Hunter B-15, and she took him and lost him.
I think she's pretty straightforward. Who she is who she is.
Yeah, she
I'd be
just,
surprised to see her siding with Renslayer.
Yeah, she's timekeeper A1. That's what she is. She will not put up with stuff and will not put up with Loki stuff.
She's the Coulson. No, actually, Mobius is the Coulson of the TVA.
Mobius is the Coulson. She's the Maria Hill of the team.
Yes. I don't know. Because
Maria Hill, as I know her.
Renslayer could be the Maria Hill.
Renslayer is the evil Nick Fury. Because she has two eyes.
Oh my gosh. Didn't at one point, even I want to say during Civil War, Maria Hill overthrew Nick Fury in the comics.
She did.
And she became
because she thought he was a traitor to the state and lying, but that was whole things.
Which is like, okay, that don't you know Nick Fury at all? Like he's always got secrets. He's always doing his own thing.
Always.
And now you're gonna make a big deal of it.
And then she got her mind taken over and everything. And I when they found C-20, I thought she was gonna be messed up afterwards because C-20 was like,
yeah, I can't remember what she was saying, but in one of the videos where they were saying like the theory, I think it was Screen Crush, that he was saying that the theory that they were all variants was something that she was saying was basically her mind being reset to that moment where she came from or something.
And then she snapped back for a minute and be like, I told them we're all the timekeepers. Oh! Are timekeepers... Because my brain keeps going to the end of it where the reset devices go. Mm-hmm. What if the timekeepers that are there, like there's a select number that are like, we'll just say 10. Well, for giggles. Mm-hmm. 10 of them are like, OG, we are actually like the actual TVA agents. We're out here in the timeline. When we see a variant, we take it, mind wipe, send to factory to make new ones. But she sent all the devices to where those timekeepers are to wipe them out so the variants can just variate all at the same time. Because she sent them to wipe out timekeepers, but just trying to figure out what the timekeepers were actually doing, well, the TVA agents, what they were actually doing. Because that's the only reason that so many variations would happen at the same time, because there's not somebody to put them in line.
Yeah. And as far as we can tell, there's nothing significant as far as timeline goes to why they would be sending her, she be sending it to these specific times.
It's just to create so many variants that they don't have enough folks to stop all of them. Or to make enough small ones so where they have to stretch their forces really thin and then let a couple big ones just actually hit the red line.
Yeah.
And now we got a new timeline.
Because it seems also almost like that's her plan as well. I mean, so she's basically created the multiverse on 616, so the 616, which is main timeline Earth and Marvel. So happy 616.
Happy 616 day.
So it's very possible that these aren't necessarily significant. She's just creating all this chaos so that she can empty the TVA and then go back there to confront the timekeepers.
Confront King. Because old girl, Judge Renslayer, Judge Renslayer went and grabbed her little time stick too, her little stasis stick, and
there was a helmet there too. So it seems like at one point she was a hunter.
Yeah. So, didn't know you could move up and outside of time. But yeah, so she grabbed her stuff and she was about to go out there. I don't know if she's about to jump into a time portal as well, or if she's about to all right.
I think she ran through a time portal.
I don't remember. I might have walked out of the room. I did have to.
Or maybe they just showed her leave her office and then a bunch of them ran through time
portals. Yeah. But yeah, and she could be just getting ready to fight because she knows where she's coming next. So. There's a lot.
There is a lot. Okay, I'm trying to think what else was going on. So, all right, there's the apocalypse events. He found out that Asgard was destroyed and was bothered for a moment. And I mean, especially to find out that it was kind of his fault.
Ragnarok happened. He was like, well, dang.
Well, I mean, it was his fault because he put the head in the eternal flame.
I thought that was Thor.
Because he's the one that ran back to get to put it in there, and got the Tesseract out of the trophy room.
But didn't Thor tell him to do it?
Maybe, but I'm just saying, like, he doesn't know that. All it says is
he
that
has the
he
context.
was responsible.
Yeah, he just has the context of doot, doot.
Yeah. And he just found out he's got a sister.
Oh yeah. Who's still out there, by the way?
Yeah.
Probably pissed.
Yeah, and that number also, there was like 9,617 or something like that. Like, surely that's not all. Maybe that's only the ones that were just happened to be destroyed during Ragnarok.
Yeah.
But surely there aren't only 20,000 Asgardians.
No, because they got away on the ship, and they still had the whole rest of the population there. Then half that got killed, and then they had a town in, where were they, Maine or Massachusetts?
No, they're in. So in the comics, it's like somewhere in Oklahoma, right? They went to Norway.
Norway?
Yeah, remember they're where Odin vanished.
Oh.
In fact, some of the set photos show the very place where Odin disappeared.
Okay.
And it's like kind of set up as like a little monument in the new town. New Asgardia or whatever.
The movie confused me of why. Because I was like, oh, I guess he can just get there by a truck. Because in my brain, Hulk just like jumped there and then rode the truck in the town.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back to what you said earlier about Mobius. You mentioned Mobius.
Uh-huh.
Tyrese Gibson. Did you see this? supposedly confirmed that Mobius takes place in the MCU proper.
How?
Somebody asked him in an interview, "Is this in the MCU?" And he said, "Yes, yeah, absolutely."
Is he in the movie?
Yeah, he's in Mobius. And so it was during like a Fast and Furious interview, and he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
Doing what?
But Tyrese Gibson is a little
Driving a car?
well, I mean, he's not that trustworthy as far as like stuff like that goes, because he's said some crazy stuff, and
Yeah.
he's gotten kind of out there sometimes.
Don't say things for the clout. But
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that he's a reliable source necessarily. I know he's in it, but people are jumping all over that right now.
you know who I would ask? Michael Keaton. But you know what would happen?
He's not in it.
Michael Keaton?
You're thinking about Flashpoint.
He's in it. He was in the trailer, wasn't he?
Oh, okay, I forgot. Yeah, he's
Vulture.
Vulture.
He's Vulture.
He's Vulture. My bad. My
Yeah.
bad. I was thinking, okay, he's also playing Batman.
He's also playing Batman
in
again.
Flashpoint.
Yeah,
he's like all up in the multiverse right now.
Yeah.
In both universes. I want to see that crossover.
I was thinking about it, and then I was like, do I though? I don't think I do.
Yeah.
But maybe I do.
I mean, if these rumors are true and Marvel's buying DC or Disney's buying DC, which I think is baloney. That's not happening.
Yeah. It was a bad joke somewhere.
That's the internet for you. It's like, oh, I heard that this, and then somebody that's out there just trying to get clicks.
We'll
And
put
these
it.
theory crafters, you
We'll
can't
put it-
trust all these like MCU Cosmic or all these. Some of these, I forget this. There's another one, but they're theory crafters, and they say, oh, well, so our source said this, whoop, and they put it out, and it's clickbait, and it's not real information. Of course, they don't have to reveal their source. So nobody can just like outright say, "Oh, you're just lying," but it's obvious bullshit because later on, nothing ever materializes that they say, and it's just a bunch of bunk because as soon as it gets out and everybody jumps on the story, well, I mean, nobody does it so much anymore, but there for a while, it was like everything they said, it was like, oh man, and then somebody would take them seriously, and it would just spread like wildfire, but then somebody would come out and be like, yeah, that's not true at all.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of it still kind of stayed out there because, yeah, I mean, like we've got Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield saying, I'm not in the new Spider-Man movie. What are you talking about? Even though they've been seen on set.
Them sitting there eating a sandwich next to Tom Holland.
So, I mean, something like that is different because there is like actual proof that they've been there and they're on the set in costume and all this crazy stuff. But these other theory craft and BS sites, just be careful about that nonsense.
Be careful. Yes.
And we try to only perpetuate things that are like proven and out there by legitimate news sources, by like the big trade magazines like Hollywood Reporter, THR, Deadline, places like that. Unless it's a super leak. There was
It's a super league.
one of the links that I sent you was this. I forget who it was, but it was a site that has some is somewhat reputable, saying that they had a source saying that a certain actor had been cast as Namor for Black Panther 2.
Oh yeah, who was it? I remember.
I forget. I mean, it was like a Latino guy, I think.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't see anything later on. It's kind of like one of those things where you have to see it confirmed a couple times.
You have to see other sources. Say
Yeah,
it.
and I haven't seen it since, so I'm just kind of like, that's probably maybe not true.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
That would be awesome because I mean, if they explained the death of T'Challa through the hand of Namor,
Yeah.
like I would watch the hell out of that. Like as much as I mean, we're gonna mourn and Wakanda forever. Like that whole plot line and setting up the anti-hero and that war between Atlantis and Wakanda. Like
Yeah.
I think that plays right into the comics. I think that would be a really clever move.
It would be a good twist on the tale of two kings. Yes.
Yeah. And they've already confirmed Atlantis twice in the MCU. Once, I want to say, it was one of the Iron Man movies with Nick.
Back there on the map.
Yeah. And then in Endgame, when Natasha asked Okoye about earthquakes off the coast, and she's like, "What are you gonna do about it?" She was like, "They're underwater earthquakes. You do nothing about them." So I mean, that could have been a backhanded, "We don't give a shit about Atlantis," or just not knowing that Atlantis is there.
T'Challa comes back. What are we gonna do about? I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. He's like, what are we gonna do about these earthquakes? Keep happening. They keep getting larger and larger. They start filling Wakanda. He's like, all right, I'll get a team together. I'll just go down there. Goes down there, finds a Namor and a spear in the chest.
Oh man! So if they opened up with he took a team and he hasn't returned, and that it's exploring all that, and then they find out that he's
gone.
He's been killed by Namor, and a big dude, I want to see that. I want to see that. Like that would. So I don't know. I feel like that would push the plot forward in a very satisfying and respectful way, in everything. But man.
Yep.
I don't know. I trust Feige. I trust the director. I forget his name. Of Black Panther.
Oh.
I see his face, but I can't think of his name right now.
I'm bad at directors. I can like really bad.
Cool. No.
We'll get it.
I don't know. Anyways.
But yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. Is there anything else in Loki?
No.
Can't think of anything.
Besides whatever's gonna happen in the next episode. Are there teasers for these episodes?
There's a site on YouTube that keeps saying that, oh, we've got a next episode teaser, but they're not an official site, so I hadn't seen anything on next episode.
Just like I watched No Way Home trailer 3 times. It's not the No Way Home trailer.
Okay, let me look it up real quick. Supposedly there are images of, like, official images for next episode.
What if we keep forgetting about Eternals? Well, we don't keep forgetting about it. Eternals are there, and until it comes out of how they're going to actually affect the MCU, there's no telling. You could spin all sorts of little theories about it, but the Eternals could just be one of those buzz movies, but it won't be because it's way too important. And what do I mean by buzz movie? While Dylan's doing this, I mean Doctor Strange, the first one. That movie was there for it's a buzz movie. It's a buzz movie for it to do 2 things: introduce a guy who's going to do cool things later, and introduce another plot point, which is the time stone that was the Infinity Stone. I will say this 1,000 times.
I liked it though.
It was fun to watch, but it was it was a quick pace movie. It was one of the shorter MCU movies, and I'm not talking trash about it. I'm just saying the MCU has filler movies, which is hilarious. Iron Man 3.
I had fun. I like Shane Black. I thought that was a fun one. I know that's not popular to say, but I thought it was fun because the whole who are you without, because like the question that Cap asked him, like, who are you without your suit,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, billionaire, philanthropist, blah blah blah, blah, playboy, whatever. And that was what he had to get to, is like, who am I under the suit?
But
I thought character-wise, it was a good exploration.
Character-wise, that would have been good if he was not still trying to deal with, I have PTSD from dying in space for 30 seconds. If he wasn't dealing with that at the same time, it would have been great. I feel like it should have been one or the other.
There's too much going on.
Like, a little bit, and then not enough at the same time, because Mandarin. See, even you made sounds.
It was fun, but I mean, it was silly, and I can't wait till they make up for it with the real Mandarin.
Yeah.
We hadn't talked about the Shang-Chi trailer. We hadn't talked about the Eternals trailer, but I feel like I need a little prep time going to that because the Eternals, like there is so much, like just the inclusion of the Black Knight.
Yeah, it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening.
Dude.
If Icarus becomes an Avenger, I'll freak. It'll be fun.
I can beat him. Dude, yeah, I'm not finding these images, so.
Oh, it's all right. Maybe the Squadron Supreme will one day show up, and that'll be fun.
If this is officially Enchantress, possibly.
Possibly. We'll see. You know who we haven't got that would have been really fun villains to have?
Who?
Wrecking Crew. There would have been this fun little throw them in there for no reason villains.
That's kind of what Amazing Spider-Man did with Rhino.
Yeah, but then they gave... But then he was going to be a part of the... Sinister Six. What is... That movie is so...
Oh, man. Sony wants the Sinister Six so bad. So bad.
So bad they can taste it.
Yeah. So much that it looks like they might even be giving up some of their autonomy to Marvel just to be included in the MCU so that they can do this as quick as possible.
So, well, I guess since we're done talking about Loki, who would be the Sinister Six for the MCU?
Okay, so we've got Scorpion, we've got Vulture. We know that Doc Ock from the Tobey Maguire verse is coming back. That Doc Ock, not just a Doc Ock that happens to be a variation like the J. Jonah Jameson.
Who is also a Nexus being, I'm calling it.
That would be super awesome. And we know we've got Electro,
Hello.
Amazing Spider-Man Electro, Blue Electro.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Or did I say Vulture? Vulture, Scorpion, Electro, Doc Ock. There are rumors that the Maguire verse.
We got messages.
Oh. Yo, what's up? We should collab. What's up, man? Send me a message. PM me. Let me know. Or DM. We don't say PM, private message.
Private
say
message.
DM. That's how old I am. I'm giving away my age. So yeah, there are rumors that we've got the Green Goblin from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man coming back too.
Ooh.
So that's 5.
It's 5.
We know Kraven has already been cast.
Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, so there's 6.
There's 6. But is it going to be Kraven the Hunter?
Possibly. We've got Venom out there.
Well, there is one more option if it's not Kraven.
Mm-hmm. Who?
Well, there's 2 more options, I guess, if you got Venom out there. Well, I have a Quinn theory about Venom. What you call it? Mysterio.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, if Vulture's there, then Mysterio could be there.
Mysterio could be there. And then we don't know for real. I don't think he's dead. He's Mysterio.
I don't think he's dead. No.
So
he's an illusionist.
So Mysterio. But that's
either one.
Dangerous.
Twitter or Instagram is fine.
That's a dangerous Sinister Six, though. And with Venom, so the one thing that folks really complained about with the Venom movie back in the Jump was that he didn't have the spider insignia on his chest.
Right.
And
he's on the West Coast. He doesn't even know Spider-Man exists.
Yeah.
Not tied to his origin story at all, as far as we know, unless they retcon it in some way.
So yeah. Which they easily can. He could be for some reason just going to New York and all this happens.
And Spider-Verse, variant Venom suddenly shows up and eats the other Venom, and he's got the spider on his chest. And it's the same Tom Hardy. It's
Well, we'll give him the spider in a cool way. We'll give him the spider in a cool way. So with him being the anti-hero that he... Let's take Mysterio out for a second. And for giggles, let's say Carnage doesn't die in the next movie. And it's Carnage as the last member of the Sinister Six.
Do you think I don't think he would play ball.
Woody Harrelson? Harrelson? Harrelson. I think he'd play ball.
You think Carnage? Like I thought only Carnage would like play with his own.
Because in my brain, this is what's about to happen. Carnage, the symbiote, is gonna end up with Green Goblin, and he becomes Red Goblin. And Red Goblin and Spider-Man 900. Red Goblin and Spider-Man fought, and Spider-Man had the black symbiote on him, so they could be toe to toe. He beat the symbiote off, and then him and Green Goblin had like a toe to toe fight in the middle of New York, surrounded by flames. It was great, and
As it should be.
And that was when Flash Thompson died because he gave the symbiote to Peter. So I think I would want something like that because it would be fun to have just that over the top fight for Spider-Man because he hasn't had anything truly over the top since Endgame, but that wasn't even Solo.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, this being his third movie, he needs something
has to be over the top
that makes him a big time superhero on his own.
On his own. And him and Venom fighting together for the Sinister Six. Venom like gets to a point where he's like, I can't do it anymore, but you can, like, and amplifies his powers. Then he gets the suit turns black, spider on the chest, and then when it leaps back onto Tom Hardy, he's Flash Thompson.
Yep.
Yeah. He ends up
just got it. I'll check it later.
Big old spider on his chest.
That would be super cool.
Yep.
That would be super cool.
And then he can go back to the West Coast.
Yeah. He definitely needs a bigger villain. I mean, Mysterio, it's a big villain. But he needs like Norman Osborn level villain.
Yeah.
Because, the Vulture's basically just a glorified dumpster diver.
Because then, so I feel like it'll end up being 5-on-5. Because Vulture will probably change sides. Because he was already on the fence anyway. And then, if you have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, that's 2 Spider-Man. You throw in Tom Hardy, that's 3. It's 4-on-6. And then Vulture flips, 5-on-5. Everybody starts beating everybody up. You get a rematch between Tobey Maguire, Doc Ock, and so on and so forth. And then Green Goblin is left. Tom Holland is left. Everybody's beat down. Tobey Maguire tells him to let the symbiote jump onto him because he knows what it can do. And then Red Goblin versus Black Suit Spider-Man. In the middle of New York, surrounded in flames. Times Square, surrounded by flames.
Do it, Sam Raimi. Do it.
Do it.
We're not getting it, but that would be super cool.
Yeah. But yeah.
I cannot wait for movies. Movies are they're coming back. They're coming back. I'm so excited. All right, so we've been just kind of shooting the shit for a little bit. So unless you have something else Loki related, we need to go ahead and call it. Right. So thank you guys for tuning in. I don't have anything else. And maybe we'll make another video later in the week if something else comes up. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
So deep. So when we drop. That's when we drop a new video or anything, go live or anything like that. We really appreciate you. So thanks again. If you want to sponsor the show, it'll help out the quality and all that kind of good stuff. I really appreciate it. Hit us up on Patreon. All those links are there in the video. So, we'll see you next time. This is Dylan.
I'm Quinn.
And Peace out, Girl Scout.
Bye. Bye.